All right, I'm gonna smooth up and seal the plaque, and I had to plug a couple of holes here with cherry. I just use a 3/8 inch plug cutter.
For people who don't chip bungs a lot, do you want to show the two different sides of the chisel and how you...
Well, people do it different ways. I do it this way. Sometimes you have to turn it.
Yeah, to shave the last bit.
If you don't make a mistake like I did, you won't have to worry about it.
You have to be careful if you flip it and shave it the other way because it will dig in.
All right, I'm going to use 120 grit paper. Hopefully that'll be enough.
With this Festool awesome sanding machine.
I have a lot of pencil marks to sand off. I don't think I need 80 grit, I hope. Sometimes it's very hard to see if you didn't get all the mill marks out. If you're using mahogany, we quite often take a little of the mahogany stain and thin it with acetone quite a bit, and put it all over the mahogany, and that acts as what we call a guide coat. When you sand it, you can see the imperfections. I'm just using acetone on the cherry, because I don't feel like putting any stain on it. But it works good on mahogany if you want to be real fussy. Just a little acetone with some stain. It dries in about 1 minute to sand. But you want to thin it a fair amount with the acetone, so it just sinks into the little imperfections.
By the way, we are at Crosby Yacht doing this video, and we're surrounded by a whole bunch of Wiena seniors. I was wondering if you guys want to let us know if you want us to do a series on John F. Kennedy's Wiena Senior Victoria, maybe. Let us know if you do. that was 180, right?
150.
150. Okay.
Usually I go 120, 180, but I had a disc of 150, so I used it. This is 180.
Okay, now 180. All right.
If you're using teak, don't sand it with such a fine paper, because teak's got its oil in it, natural oil, and sometimes it can give you a problem of this not sticking good. Probably not so much for inside stuff, but definitely outside. This is just a yoga mat, I guess they call it, and it's good because it keeps the wood from slipping too much when you're sanding. They also sell them at, I'm not sure where, they're called router mats. So when you're routering wood, it won't slip. But I haven't been able to find some lately, but these seem to work just
Yoga
fine.
mats are everywhere.
Now the last sanding I'm going to do is with 280 grit, but I'm not going to do that just yet. I have to clean up the edges. If you have a nice sharp carbide tip router bit, if you're going to router it, whatever design you like, I would spend the extra money to get carbide because it'll last for a long, long time.
And you're gonna do all the same grits on the edges as you did.
Yeah, probably will skip the 150.
Let's skip the 150, okay. So just 120, 180, and then 280.
I gotta get a little super glue. I don't know if it'll show, but I guess I'll put a dab on there. So it'll be a minute or so.
Let's go for a walk and see the building. Most of the boats are still in the water. October 2nd today. Pretty soon this shop will be completely full, including way over on the other side of that wall. This is our paint bench.
Made a little mistake sanding this.
What'd you do?
I used the edge of the paper and it caught and lifted up. You always want to use the folded piece. I don't normally use this paper. I use regular sandpaper folded.
Yeah.
But always use the folded edge and there's less chance of ripping it. This is such a slight one, it probably wouldn't even matter if I didn't do it. As far as gluing it. This glue is old, so it may not be any good. This doesn't want to cut.
Be careful. Anything?
No.
No? Well, I know Brian has some super glue next
Oh,
door.
yeah. There's a little, it's coming.
Oh, okay.
It's getting thick.
Yeah.
Be careful, don't try to get too much of this on your hands, because it'll definitely stick your fingers together. I've done it many times and I just pull it apart and it doesn't stay on your hands too long.
Did you get a acid brush to get it underneath?
No, I did it with this. This super glue, it's called Zap-A-Gap. I get it at the hardware store. No, excuse me, the hobby shop in Hyannis. The brand name is Zap-A-Gap. It comes in this is a a little thicker, dries a little slower, and they have one that's in a pink bottle. It dries real fast, but it's a little thinner. But it's the best super glue I've ever found. But you can get different ones at the hardware store.
What's the dry time?
Well, if I'm
5
clamping
minutes?
2 pieces together, I try to have my watch and hold it together for like 2.5 minutes. They do make a spray. You can spray it on and then put the glue on and put the wood on, but you got to be very fast because it'll set up before you do anything. So I don't use it. I'm just going to let that dry for a few minutes. And when I'm staining or varnishing, I have a little piece of like 1/2-inch plywood, and I get some sheetrock screws. These are probably 1 5/8, doesn't matter. And when I'm varnishing or staining, I just set it right on top. I don't normally put it on the face side. That way I can do both sides and the edges. But don't ever sand on it. When you got a sand, take it off and put it on the router mat. But if you try to sand on these, it'll slip and it'll dig in. All right, so I can,
Why don't we go get the sealer ready while it dries?
well, I gotta sand with the other grits on the other 3 sides. Here.
I see that spot again, okay?
Oh, beautiful. The money's in the car.
Got it, thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Take care, Kevin. Yeah, this is the 180. I'll do that edge where the glue was, but make sure you use a folded part. Don't do what I did. That was stupid to do it, but.
On folded paper, the edge is also more likely to cut through if you're worried about cutting through. So it's better not to use it in that case too. Dry for another couple of minutes. A little piece of 280 here, I think. This is a 280. It'll be the final sanding on the edge. If you were going to be staining the wood, whether it was cherry or mahogany, the finer that you go with the sandpaper, the less stain will absorb into the wood. It'll be lighter.
This is what I mean about the edge. This is the edge that ripped the wood. But see, this folded edge won't.
Right.
So
And
be-
that's also the edge that would cut through if you were worried about
so
cutting
be very
through.
careful. I've done it many times. And I still do it sometimes.
Just have the super glue handy.
Sometimes if it's bad enough, you gotta get maybe some colored wood dough to fill it, and it takes a long time to dry. Here at the boat yard, we can make it out of an epoxy and the gel stain, and we thicken it with a powder.
For anybody who has a West System kit, we usually thicken it with the 410 powder.
I think that's the top, isn't it? Oh, I didn't go over that with the 280 on the machine, did I?
No. You could probably just do it by hand, though.
I'm gonna do it by hand afterwards. Guess I don't have it. It was 320. I'll use that.
Close enough.
All right, I'm gonna get some sealer. You wanna walk around, show them flash and stealth from different boats?
Sure.